All right, straight up in the news, and the Ghana Gas Company says its gas processing facility should begin production at full capacity from April 1 this year to make available enough gas to power the country's thermal generation plant at Abuaze in the western region.
In a bid to manage the public expectations, however, officials say the ramp-up of production would not add to the country's installed generation capacity. Responding to questions on promises made in the past before Parliamentary Committee on Government Assurances, the company led by its Chief Executive, Dr. George Sipayanke, said the company is ready to supply the VRA some 140 billion standard cubic feet of gas per day.
Right now we're producing about 74 million, we're supplying to VRA about 74 million standard cubic feet of gas per day. And we at Ghana Gas are now ready and able to supply VRA with 140 million standard cubic feet of gas per day, enough to generate about 550 megawatts of power.
Well, Petroleum Minister Emmanuel Amakofi-Boa meanwhile says Ghana Gas will soon produce enough LPG to meet half of what the country requires.
When we have fuel substitution, we would have about half of the cost for production of the same amount of power. So we can't claim that there will be increase in power once we've actually assumed that the cost has been halved.
So you are telling Ghanaians that there will not be any increase in power production?
Yes.
We have to apologize. That is not the Minister of Energy, Emmanuel Amakofi-Boa.
Yeah, but you know, the whole issue about gas coming in and Ghana Gas Company, you know, producing enough on the 1st of April, how is it going to impact on Doom? So, I mean, that's what we want to hear. Not that you're generating, because you may be generating and we will still be in doom.
Yes,
you know,
and we were being told, according to what the experts are saying, the independent critics or experts, that it's not going to solve the current challenges we have.
Yeah.
So we just have to take that into mind.
You know, when these officials appear before Parliament, can they speak the normal language that we all can understand and not the technicalities? You know, that's what I want to hear. But of course, we have to move on with the news.
And the investigations by the Trades Ministry are underway into reasons for the low patronage of made-in-Ghana goods.
Well, this comes in the wake of a fall in Ghana's trade margins, as 52% of goods consumed, according to the World Trade Organization, are not locally produced. Meanwhile, Deputy Trades Minister Murtala Mohammed, in an interaction with the media, says one of the factors contributing to this challenge is the inability of local companies to compete with multinationals due to deficits in their capacity to compete on a global scale.
He says government will intervene as part of measures to lift them up.
To compete with industries who have been in the business over 100 years. Some have been in business over 150 years, 200 years, 50 years, and some of them, our domestic industries, are just, if you like, 10 years, 5 years, some 3 years, 20 years. There is the need for some intervention to protect them. But we can no longer come out with the restrictive measures because it violates the WTO rules, which we are a signatory. What we can do is some of the direct interventions government is making, like the assistance to pharmaceutical companies, because they produce medicines that are of standard, that can match any pharmaceutical company across the globe. But the question is, they don't even produce enough to feed the domestic market, so we are compelled to import them.
I've got a little answer for those who are wondering why we don't produce or we don't buy made in Ghana. I took my fabrics to the seamstress. It's been 3 weeks now. She's either in doom, so just a little. And so, yeah, why can I wear made in Ghana?
A lot more frustration in the system as far as we're concerned. But let's see whether there's also a lot more frustration in the health sector.
And authorities at the Yankafo Psychiatric Hospital in the Central Region are contemplating possible closure of the facility due to a massive debt overhang.
It is currently being chased by its suppliers for unpaid debt totaling nearly 1 million Ghana cedis. Well, though the medical director of the hospital, Dr. Kwawama, concedes in the decision to shut down cannot be unilateral, He says the 2 other psychiatric hospitals in Ghana are currently in discussions on what they will have to do next if their subventions from governments do not come in good time to settle all their debtors.
I bring to the notice of the public. Unfortunately, people think that we have stopped admissions. That is not the issue. We admit, what we say is that we have restricted admissions. Just because if you admit too many people, you can't feed them. So, like I already said, we owe suppliers to the tune of about 1 million cedis. So, the old admissions where you had about 300, 350 on admissions is no more, but we still admit. When people are brought in a very deplorable, very bad situation, very bad ill health, we don't let them take them home. So we are admitting, but we have restricted admissions. The financial situation is very dire. Money to feed patients, money to run the hospital, money to buy fuel into vehicles. All those things are still pending. We want to plead that the government should release funds immediately to be able to help us out of the problem. The medication problem, like I said, it wasn't, our problem didn't start with the banning of the medical store. We had that problem before. Probably it has been worsened by the fire that gutted, but the problem has been there, and we think something should be done about it. The medications is a problem. What we have been doing is to buy with the small funds we have to buy and sell to patients. Because it's very unfortunate, you can't allow patients to go and they will not get the drugs to buy. So we have to use hospital funds to buy and sell to them. So that is the way we try to get around the patient get the drugs. There are non-availability of drugs. But you know that not everybody can afford, because if I'm going to buy from the open market, I have to sell at the prices of the open market. And we know that when the government brings in the medications, they are very subsidized prices, but they are free. And so that is where the problem is. If they now have to buy, a lot of our patients can't afford the medication. We have to buy from the open market and sell to them at those prices. As for closing down the hospital, what I mean is we can't take a unilateral decision. For example, there are 3 psychiatric hospitals, Ankafo, Pantai, and Accra Psychiatric Hospital. So we all face the same problems anyway, but if there's any decision, the 3 of us have to come together and take a decision. But I think it would be wrong for me to take a decision unilaterally on my own. So we're currently in discussions so that if no money is released, progressive hospitals have to come together and then tell the government about what we want to do. But I think that in any case, whatever we want to do, we have to put it before the government.
Just in case you're wondering, that is a psychiatric hospital. It's called the Ankafo Hospital. That's a place where persons have to seek for medical health. You know,
it makes it difficult for rehabilitation to take place in such an environment.
Definitely. I mean, you become more sick in such an environment.
We'll see how that goes, and we hope that they get their subventions as quickly as they can. The executive director of the Environmental Protection Agency, the EPA, has denied allegations he has been compromised by one of the mining companies whose environmental impact operations the agency is supposed to check.
Responding to allegations of bribery and corruption at a news conference here in Accra, Daniel Amlalu denied receiving a brand new cross-country vehicle in lieu of mining permits and challenged any such mining firm to go public with their claims.
And then you also said you were forming a subcommittee.
I have never received a vehicle from any mining company or any company for that matter. There is no V8 that has been given to me by any company. So I'll challenge any company that says they've given me a V8.
I've never seen it with my naked eyes. The executive director's house, I even do not know there. I don't know his house. I've never seen the vehicles. But he came and told the workforce, the staff, where, in fact, the source or the sources of those vehicles. He told them, and no staff has challenged him at that particular meeting that, okay, well, this is what we know, and this is what you are telling us. So who is telling the truth?
This is news to me as I sit here. It could be you are getting from somewhere else, or the news might have filtered to you from some other sources. I don't know. But if that is the practice, then it is not right. I don't also think that EPA can direct you to a consultant and insist that it should work with that consultant. What I mean by that is, I'm not trying to justify any occasion of EPA telling you to see this consultant. Well, they are working with the people. I'm not justifying, if it's a practice, I'm not justifying that. They are working with the people. Well, if you have a project, so to say, and you don't know the people who are playing in that particular field, and I try to just plug this hole. Okay, you can see this and that, those consultants. But under no circumstance can I put my feet down that you must deal with that consultant. I don't think that one is right. So if the agency is doing that, I'm not saying that's what they are doing, but wherever you are getting the information from, if that is the practice, then we stand as a board to condemn that. Okay.
Meanwhile, the board chair of the EPA, Vicenate, who was seen talking there, says he's unaware of reports that mining companies seeking permits are being directed to engage specific consultants as established by the cronies of the executive director of the EPA.
He, however, says it is wrong if that is going on, and it would be found out.
And then you also said you were...
AMA has been directed to put up corrective measures to clean up the place. AMA brought in their line of action, what they need to do, and also some companies that would assist them. We've had some embassies coming along with AMA to say that yes, we would resolve the problem. A trip to that site maybe will tell you that they have started working. Because it does not have implications only for EPA, but for the whole country. Because we could have other countries that import fish from Ghana, saying because of the level of pollution, we will not buy fish from Ghana. So it's not only for EPA. It's also for all of us because we go swimming. And if you have high level of coliform matter in the water, it's not good for all of us. So let's take it that the responsibility is not only for EPA, but for all of us to ensure that that problem is solved, and solved within the shortest possible time. But we know AMA is working on this. We will go back to them at the end of this quarter, that is March, and find out where they have reached. But they were with us, we went through the process, and we are satisfied with the steps they are taking now to resolve the problem.
All right, that will be it for the AM News. We will come back and check out what's making headlines in the newspapers. But I've got to say a happy birthday to you, Verna Papo. You are the special one. I'll give you a lot more information about Verna. It's her birthday today, and she's our special one. So happy birthday to you, girl.
Enjoy your day. We're taking a break. When we come back, we'll be up.